All righty, everyone. I think we are good to start. Emily, so do we have quorum? Yes or no? Emily, if you're talking, okay, thumbs up. Okay, we got quorum. So great. All right, everybody. Thank you, and for it's our first meeting of the year. We haven't talked to each other and seen and met since the holidays. I hope you all had a good end of year and holiday season, and that your new year is going off well. It has been busy, extremely busy, as I know every one of you are experiencing. So lots going on in the space. We have some updates for today, and we have some actions that we wanted to get, and we wanted to start with the vote of, we had talked about having officers and officer process, so to provide some formality and organization to the CPCC as we're bringing it back together. So that process took place. It took place through a remote vote. We did the voting and nomination process through a online. We have the results of that. And Emily, or did you want to post those results, or did we want to, how do we want to go about the, where we had the membership by position, and then the citizen members of officers that we're going to be voting on?
Hopefully you can hear me now.
Again, yes.
Perfect. Apologize for the technical difficulties. We sent out the results of the nomination vote in the agenda, and that's also posted on the website now for anyone that would like to take a look at that. If you would like, I can just read that into the record, and then if needed, we could do group discussion. Otherwise, we can move to a roll call vote, whichever works best for the group.
Okay, I'll suggest, why don't you read it into the record since we're recording the meeting, Emily? And then after you've read it in, then I will ask the commission if they want to have discussion or if they will move to ratify.
All right. Then with no further ado, so the results of the online nomination process and the commissioner votes for nomination for the chair and co-chair position. Eligible commissioners from section 2, membership by position. Armando Saldate, Jeff Holliday as delegate, 7 votes. Greg Morrow, 3 votes. Colette Tebed with Leanne Ficus, 2 votes. Mike Johnston with Matt Ball, 1 vote. Elias Stiggins, 1 vote. And Carrie Tipper with Marley Bordowski as delegate, 1 vote. The nominations results from section 3, citizen members. Jonathan McMillan, 9 votes. Taj Ashahid, 2 votes. Jennifer Gafford, 1 vote. Lisa Thompson, 1 vote. Cara Napolitano, 1 vote. Orlando Salazar, 1 vote.
Thank you for reading that into the record, Emily. Do any of the commissioners want to have a discussion prior to a ratification vote? If so, unmute, and we can start that discussion. Again, oh, and just for the record, can we have the person that's identified as iPhone 54 on the call? Can you identify yourself for the record?
I think that's Councilman Cashman.
Okay. Did anyone have any discussion that they wanted to offer? All right, then at this point, we will entertain a motion, or if anyone would like to make a motion for ratification of this vote.
So moved. Sheriff Diggins.
Sheriff Diggins moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second. It's Marley.
Okay, Marley, that's you. I thought I also heard Taj there. Was that also? Okay, thank you. All right, Emily, this is now to you. So if you want to do the roll call vote. Please.
I'll do a roll call vote. And I'm going to run down the list of the commissioners that I have noted. And please then at the end, I'll open it up. If any commissioners, if I missed you, let me know, and we'll get your vote counted. Let's see here. I have Armando.
I was just thinking, do I abstain? I don't like to vote for myself, but I would definitely like to support Jonathan for this. So,
I was wondering the same thing myself. Do we abstain if we are, yeah, Tosh?
yep. Okay, I would.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can somebody put in the chat, because I was I was in the waiting room, so I have no idea what we're doing right this moment. So if somebody can even just put it in the chat, it sounds like we're voting for, I'm guessing chairs, but I just need to know who and
Yep.
all the details. Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't mind, Emily, if you wanted to read those again, just so everyone to consider it. So yes, it is. It's for the chairs that that was sent around in a online vote, and then it was there was a motion to ratify that online vote. It's also on the website, and was there one other place that this was at? But I'm okay with you, Emily, just reading it
I
again.
got it. That's all. Thank you so much. I'm good.
Okay, you good? All right, thanks.
Thank you. All right. Am I good to go ahead and run the roll call? All right, I will do that now. Armando.
Abstain.
Okay. Let's see here. Sheriff Diggins.
Aye.
Judge Lombardi.
Aye.
Marley. Marley. I will come back to Marley. Colette.
Aye.
Right, thank you. I was like, is my microphone not working again?
I'm
Sorry.
going between Teams and Zoom, and so thank you for your patience.
We've got gremlins today. Greg.
Aye.
Thank you. Anne. Oh, I think I see I.
Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. Aye.
David.
Aye.
Thank you. Jesse.
No.
I see you. Is that an I or an A?
I'm sorry. Yes, that's a yes. That's an
Great, thank you. Blake.
Aye.
Thank you. Councilman Cashman. I'll come back to Councilman Cashman. Councilmember Parody.
here, or aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Gonzalez Gutierrez.
Hi.
Thank you. Jonathan.
Abstain, please.
All right. Dr. Gafford. I see a thumbs up. All right, thank you. Cara.
Aye.
Thank you. Orlando.
Aye. Sorry, my throat's going out. Aye.
Thank you. Anthony,
Aye.
thank you. Taj,
Abstain, please.
abstain, all right. Let me go back through, Mimi.
Hi, sorry, I'm so late. I'm at the Capitol testifying and I'm gonna abstain. And
Okay.
because I'm late.
All right, no problem, thank you. And then I saw Chief Thomas joined, I know you were jumping on. Chief, we were just voting to ratify the nominations that were received, for the chair and co-chair positions.
Okay, I approve.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I approve.
Okay, thank you. And let's see, Marley is gonna come back to you. It looks like we might have lost, oh, I see Marley on. Okay, Marley, if you could give me a thumbs up if your audio may not be working. All right, I'm going to put you down as an abstain, just since I'm not hearing anything from you, if that's okay. And then I'll give Councilman Cashman. All right, similarly, I will mark Councilman Cashman as an abstain, not hearing anything different. Are there any commissioners that I've missed?
I'm not hearing or seeing any.
Nope, I did just, Lisa, I know you're just now jumping into the meeting. Just for awareness, we are voting to ratify the nominations that the commissioner for chair and co-chair leadership of the commission. If you need just a sec to get settled, if you'd like to add a vote in or abstain.
And Emily, this is Marley. I am so sorry I'm having connection issues, but I vote aye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I will vote aye as well.
Great, thank you. All right, I will go ahead and add up the votes. If I missed any commissioners, please just raise your hand and let me know.
Not hearing or seeing any.
Right, by my quick math, we had 17 yeses and 5 abstains, counting Councilman Cashman, since I didn't hear a vote from him. So with that, motion passes. We had more than quorum.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Emily, for your help with this and for the online and for all of you folks that participated in the online vote and today's vote. I really appreciate it. I think this was a big step that we were hoping to get done. And starting up the new year with this, I think is going to be helpful in alignment of the CPCC and hopefully going forward as we do some committee work as well. Congratulations to Jonathan for our citizen member now. There is a designation of these two, the two vote getters here of the chair and co-chair, and I would, definitely would like to see if Jonathan, if you would be interested in being the chair of the committee? The commission, I mean.
Uh, I mean, I'm happy to fill that role if you're
Yep.
not.
Nope, absolutely. That's kind of what I'd hope that you would want to, whoever came out on as a citizen member. I think it's important to have that community voice as our chairperson. So definitely will look forward to helping you and assisting as a co-chair.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to serve.
Alrighty. With that, if you don't mind, I can go through the rest of the.
Thanks to you as well.
Okay, and I'd like to go through the rest of the agenda, and then definitely will CBU in the future meeting, so you can kind of run the show on these things. So, oh, great. So next up on the agenda, we have a budget update, 2024 year end. Our budget team, finance teams across the city are working to close out 2024. And then also year to date going into 2025. Department of Safety, Chief Financial Officer, Shanae Cummings, I believe is on the call and is able to provide that update. So Shanae, are you ready to go through that?
Yes, sir. And
All
good
right, thank you.
afternoon, commissioners and everyone on the call. I am going to do a screen share here, and this information will also be made available on the website and to each of you. Wanted to provide an update for our 2024 year end. These are projections at this point. Our year end does not close until March 7th. And so myself and my team are working through the finals transactions and journal accruals and entries to end out 2024. So I will be able to provide a final update here, probably at the next commission meeting, or no later than June, once all the final records are reconciled. So with that, just to give a summary of where we are currently for the 2024 year-end projection, there was a rollover cash balance of approximately $1 million, as well as in 24, the $2 million cash transfer coming from the general fund under the council bill, which we reference as the long bill for 23 for the 24. Year-end budget expenditures projected, again at this time, not audited, is about $2,050,000, which is about the same amount that we have for the cash in transfer. So our net balance is about $1 million. There is investment income, which is just the income that is collected almost like a savings, like you do with a savings account, the percentage allocation from that. So I'm projecting a rollover of about $1,052,000. Below is a breakdown of how the amounts that were funded and approved by the commission and where the actual expenditures are as of today, and also projected through the remainder of the year. Again, I don't have all the final invoices reconciled and audited, which is why this is a stating projected summary. One thing to note on this document for innovation programs, which is the new programs, you might see the dollar amounts vary a little bit from what a normal 1 year allocation would be. The reason for that is, as commission members may recall, this group of contracts actually is from June to from July of 1 year to June of the following year. So our city fiscal calendar year is January through December. So because these contracts ran from, in this case, of July 23 through June of 24, there was rollover dollars that occurred between December and January, December 23 to January 24. So that's why these dollar amounts are different. For 25, we should not see that same occurrence, or we may see, just depending on how the allocations end up. And as the commission members may recall, they did vote to approve these contracts for an additional 6-month period through June of 2025. Just as a recap for 25 budget, there was $900,000 that will be transferred into the CPCC fund for 2025. We also have the $800,000 fund transfer. This was the remaining balance that was transferred over from DPHE when they were managing this fund and moved over to Department of Safety. In addition to that, with the projected rollover of $1 million, and again, this is projected, there will be approximately $2.75 million to budget or to work with for the 2025 fiscal year. Again, there's 2 FTEs, which Armando, I believe, will speak to next on the agenda item that is funded under the general fund that support this program, which is both the program administrator position as well as the fiscal administrator position. The last thing I just wanted to highlight, and this, we also approved this during the November meeting, was just the budget balances that were approved, or the budget appropriation that was approved. Oh, sorry, I had a typo. Worked so hard not to have typos. For 25, for the transition to jails in the community, that should reference 25. So I will correct that before we send this out. But these are the dollar amounts of the awards. And again, as we stated for 2025, these contracts, this amount referenced here, like for Center of Employment Opportunities, 175,000 is what is awarded for the entire year from July to June. And because we've only approved 6 months, it's only 87,000, so half of the year. So I will stop sharing, and that was my update. Are there any questions?
Thank you. If there's any commissioner questions, please unmute and you can ask them now. And again, this will be sent out, or has it been sent out already?
I don't believe so, but we will
Okay.
get it sent out.
Yep.
And also posted on the website.
Yeah, and if you all have any questions, once you have a chance to sit down and read it and review it, please forward those questions to me, Shanae, and Emily, and we'll make sure that any of your questions get answered. The next agenda item I wanted to cover, and that Shanae made mention to, and thank you, Shanae, for that update and for providing that little detail, was the 2 positions that CPCC are funded. As I think everyone knows, we have been, due to the current budget environment, it's been, these positions have been held for some time. We finally got approval to go forward with the CPCC manager position, the program manager position. That process had been posted, that opportunity had been posted on the city website. Applications were received. From a number of applications that were received, they were reviewed by Human Resources, who then determined which one of those met the criteria for the job. And that from that, there has it's been called down to a group of 8 applicants. That initial 8 are having interviews that are going to be starting on Friday. Friday will be the interviews beginning, the first part of the interviews. And then the next round of the interviews, we were waiting for the appointment of the chair and co-chair of the committee to participate in that round. So as we go forward on that, we will keep commissioners updated on how that process progresses. We are very excited, as you can imagine, to finally get this position onboarded, hired and onboarded. It's been something that, of all the other extra workload that the Department of Safety has been having to, take on, this was also one of them. So I really want to thank Emily, who has always steps up when we need things, and has really stepped up and helped fill the gap and of us not having this program manager position for some time, and really helped me and Jeff and others try to keep things organized and keep things moving forward here on our front. So thank you to Emily. hopefully relief is coming soon and we'll be in a good position and hopefully be introducing the new program manager soon to the commission. The fiscal administrator position, that was a position that we had also has been waiting to get posted and approved. It is something, and Shanae, while you're still on, can you tell me the status of that? I don't believe we've been able to post that yet. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Carlon, you're off.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
problem.
so we did have the position posted. It was pulled down for HR by OHR, which is our Office of Human Resources temporarily for some adjustments and a potential ADA accommodation. So we're just waiting on the ruling for that, and then we'll be able to post that position again.
Okay, great. So once we get that and once it is posted again, we'll share with commissioners. So you could also share within your network so we can see if we have good, get some applicants for that position. That's really helping with a lot of the grant management, compliance, all those things that are associated with the work that we do. Next up on the agenda items, we have the 2024 performance review. That is planned for March 19th, our CPCC meeting, March 19th next month. We will go through the contract review. We will have Cindy Lobb, who will do the research, will compile the data and the research and work with the vendors, our contracted vendors, to provide the performance review in accordance with our contract terms for 2024, and that will be March 19th at our CPCC meeting. The 2025 mid-year contract review or contracts votes will be set for our April 16th CPCC meeting. As you recall, I think our last extension was for 6 months, so this will be for those next that next round, and hopefully be informed by the performance reviews. So for the vendors that are on this, our contracted vendors that are on this call right now, and Cindy will be reaching out, as will Shay Moore-Farrell, who helps with the data analysis. They will be reaching out to you, so please be responsive to the data request so we can provide a timely and informative update on the performance reviews. Next, and we're kind of buzzing through this.
Armando, one
Yes,
second.
sir. Go ahead, Jonathan.
While I am impressed with your speed and appreciate the efficiency, I wanted to circle back a little bit about with the hiring of the program manager.
Sure.
What is the process, their first wave of process as far as selecting a interview panel, and then the second interview panel? I'm assuming that will be made of at least some of the commissioners here.
Yeah, so definitely. So the first part of the process is the review of the screening of all the applications and the Workday, applications to first see which ones meet the criteria for the job, right? And then that is done by our safety human resources team, that recruiting team. That has then been called down to, and right now we have Jeff Holiday is the hiring manager listed for that. He's then going through that first level round of interviews. I apologize, he meant to be on this call, but he's actually in a P&I meeting right now with that we're having with Bloomberg, so he couldn't be on here, but I could make sure to follow up, and we'll get that out to you into a communication from when we follow up with all the budget materials and things of who's going to participate in that first round interviews. Then there's typically a first round, then at the next round is, probably scaled down to top 3 or 4 candidates. And then that's where we're looking to use our new chair and others informed how we would want that next process to go. Who would we want participating from the commission and from the commission, and then look to see how we determine that. I think you're familiar with that because we've sat on I think when Asadi, our former program manager, was hired, I believe we both sat on her final round.
I literally just deleted the files from my computer yesterday.
Yeah, so so definitely we'll have some, commission involvement in that final round. So as we get that and as we're going through that, we will keep the commissioners informed of the process and how that process was done. If there,
Okay, I would just encourage any commissioners that preemptively would like to be a part of that lit. I guess myself, Armando, or CPCC staff know you're interested.
yeah, definitely. So please email me, Emily and Jonathan if you have interest, and then we'll try to figure out what that second round will look like for that process. And then what we typically do is we try to do, if we have applicants from out of state or out of the area, we will try to do all remote if that's it, to make it fair. If all the applicants are local and it's able to be done, we can do just a day or, set a sort of time for in-person interviews. So that will be for that second part, but we'll keep you all posted. There any questions? Sorry, I was buzzing through that. I was just trying to get through the thing. So is there any other questions on that topic or on the next topics that I talked about, which was our upcoming performance reviews and mid-year contract vote? I'm not seeing any hands. All righty. And really then we just have a couple of more bullet points. I know, and it's just been a matter of great interest around the immigration enforcement policies of the President Trump administration, how the city, obviously the city of Denver has been highlighted amongst, kind of our stance and our values around welcoming immigrants and how we've welcomed them. I just wanted to touch on, just briefly, in case folks were wondering, we're talking, I know we have some of our vendors on too, that where we stand as a city and where we will continue to stand, and to update folks on, I'm sure if you've read the news, Mayor Johnston will be testifying by invitation to Congressional Oversight Committee coming up in March 4th, if I got that. It's early March, I'm forgetting. As you all know, we have city ordinance and state law here that dictate what we can and can't do when it comes to immigration, particularly civil detainers. We have been consistent with that for some time. We have valued that, and we also value, and I know Chief Thomas and Sheriff Diggins are on the call. If you all wanted to add anything to this conversation, please get up and do that. But I know that we value for public safety, for delivering public safety to our community and people that visit, work, and play here in Denver, that we're a welcoming city, and that we do not, when we are engaging in public safety service delivery, ever ask someone's status, their immigration status, or collect that status, nor do we report any status or to immigration officials or to the federal government. When we do get these ICE detainer requests, these are civil detainer requests. These are formal requests that come through to the sheriff's department, to the jail for someone that might be in our custody, saying, hey, we know this person's in your custody. We want to be notified. We'd ask you to detain them so we could pick them up once they're upon their release, or ask to be notified when they are to be released. We have complied with that. It's been consistent through the Hancock administration and through the Johnson administration that we do provide that notification. The sheriff's office provides that notification, and that we also report those notification requests quarterly to our city council. So I just wanted to touch on that. Nothing has changed from our perspective. Obviously, we have also seen and heard from community around concern around mass immigration, particularly immigration enforcement at sensitive sites like churches, hospitals, schools. That is definitely something that we have talked about, roundtabled, and discussed. And it's always our goal to preserve the peace and preserve public safety, but also to comply with federal, state, and local laws as we do so. So it has, created, unfortunately, a lot of fear in our community. And we hope to mitigate that fear, and we hope to always be there from Denver public safety always be there to preserve the peace and make sure folks recognize that we're a welcoming city that provide services no matter your status, or your immigration status whatsoever. It's very complicated. It's a complicated issue. There's complicated legal concerns that come into play here. There's obviously a tough posture from the Trump administration and from ICE right now around interference and threats of jail for folks that interfere. Obviously, I never want to put anyone, whether it's a public safety employee or any city employee, in any jeopardy or risk of jail for following the law and doing what they believe is the right thing to do. So we obviously are maintaining close guidance from our city attorney's office and the mayor's office on these issues. I just wanted to provide that high level kind of look for people. I know there's a lot of concern around that and a lot of issues that are going on. I know that folks that are vendors for us have concern on how they would be involved or somehow get involved in some sort of immigration enforcement efforts. And so we've, as a city, have been trying to do outreach with groups and folks on these issues. So if there's any questions, concerns, or anything that you have for us, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to connect you with the right entity, or if I can answer it. But for now, I'd like to pause and just see if Sheriff Diggins or Chief Thomas, did you have anything else to add to that discussion prior to me passing it over to the commission?
No, sir, I had nothing.
Thank you, Chief.
Neither do I, Director. You framed it very well. We appreciate that.
Thank you all. And thank you for all our city workers and everyone doing the work out there. And it has been very impactful on our community, and we recognize that, nor do we want to be conflated in any role in a mass immigration enforcement for our community. So we're being very careful around those sorts of things. And then I think lastly, tied to that, there has been protests associated with this. We've had some large protests. One was, I think, over a week ago, during the middle of the week, there was a walkout from our high schools. I know that students from Northwest, some academies in between there, and other high schools participated in a walk to the state capitol. It was very powerful. There were a lot of students, and then a lot of folks came out. It was also the same day that morning where there was some ICE immigration enforcement across the metro. So it was a very spirited protest, and I just want everyone to know that that our role in DPD and the sheriff's department, our fire department, our paramedics, all the safety folks that respond to these expressions of First Amendment, the right to protest, is something that we take very seriously, and it's something that it's our goal to provide a safe environment for everyone to be able to protest, to clear traffic, to make sure, that traffic can be clear so folks can express their First Amendment rights. We also know there's been counter protests and other things. There's been several protests since then, a few that were very large. I'm talking about 3,000 plus folks, and they've gone very well. They've been without issue, and I'm very proud of DPD and all our public safety folks that work these to make sure that folks can exercise their rights in a safe manner. So just want to add that. I just see District Attorney Walsh. I saw your hand up. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Director. I just wanted to say for the DA's office that we very much appreciate the approach you all are taking on these issues, and we're in exactly the same place, and look forward to working with you to, our concerns about victims feeling comfortable coming to court and witnesses coming to court. Those things are all front and center for us to protect public safety, and those are issues that I know that we'll continue to work with as we figure out the landscape that we're dealing with.
Thank you very much, District Attorney. We really appreciate your partnership. Thank you. I will go to there's I think next on our agenda will be new business, but I saw when, oh, go ahead.
Blake's got his hand up as well.
Oh, Blake, I'm sorry for the hand up. I was looking down on a piece of paper. Sorry about that.
That's okay, Armando. I want to go back just a little bit when you were talking about the notifications from the sheriff's department to ICE regarding people who are going to be released in that notification process. And I know based upon articles that were printed a few weeks ago in various newspapers that I think Denver and Boulder are kind of outliers in that like Weld County, El Paso County, Douglas County, they've made a determination that that is in violation of Colorado law. Is this a city attorney decision? Where is this coming from that Denver is a little different than other jurisdictions?
Yeah, that has not been our interpretation and not the legal guidance that we have received. So we, like I said, that's been consistent since, and Sheriff, you probably know this, the date when this started, but that's been consistent and that's been maintained by Mayor Johnston and direction of Mayor Johnston.
Yeah, Director, we've been doing that since 2017, and in fact, Marley is a part of this group and helped us to craft our direction in that response to ICE. And is another subject matter expert when it comes to answering that question, Blake. I'm sure she and you could probably talk about that offline.
Thank you, Sheriff. Blake, did that answer your question?
I figured it was just a matter of interpretation.
Yep. I see Councilwoman Purdy has her hand.
Yeah, since we're talking about this, I have a little bit of confusion actually, and I don't know that I knew I was confused until I was just listening just now. So, and it relates to what Blake is asking. So my understanding has been that when Denver crafted our city ordinance, putting aside the state law question, back at that time in the executive order and the ordinance that kind of happened together, we did make the decision that we were going to continue to cooperate with those notification requests. And that would be for any like type of conviction that the person had or that they had been held in the jail for. And I, as you all probably know, I really question that approach now because I think the analysis has sort of changed. My understanding is that that was because DPD wanted to continue to have sort of cooperation with ICE in different circumstances. I think they're now not going to cooperate with us in any circumstances. And so I question that. But what I just heard you say, Armando, and what I've heard the mayor say recently are a couple of different things. I thought that we didn't cooperate with detainer requests at all. And now I'm not sure if that's what I'm hearing. And that's of course different than just the notification, right? Like I thought we never detained people beyond. Okay, sorry, thank you. And then what I've heard the mayor say a bunch of times in media, including in a Kyle Clark interview, and he said it over and over, he was also quoted in the New York Times saying this, is that we only notify ICE when someone has a conviction for some kind of violent crime. And I would be happier with that policy, but I don't think that's true. Like I get those quarterly reports. Sheriff, you recently sat me down and walked me through those. That was really helpful. And I saw people on our last quarterly report that we did notify ICE about who were like failure to appears. So there's a disconnect there as well. And I've been asking the mayor's office to be a little more, first of all, if we've changed policy and we're now only notifying ICE if the person has a conviction for some crime of violence, I would love to know that. And I think that would be a great change. But that's not what I've understood to be the case. And I am a little concerned that the mayor keeps saying that if it's not true. So since we're talking about it, I thought I would ask those questions. And thank you for the response about detainers. I thought we didn't do that and that would be in violation of state law. So.
Yeah, no, we do not detain folks for that. And thank you for your questions. I'll try to answer as best I can. And I didn't need to add more confusion here. We've been consistent in how we respond to these notification requests, since as now you just heard from the sheriff 2017, that is regardless of what the crime is and what that is. It's not specified just felonies or violent crimes. That's not something we do. In fact, like if it's an FTA, I don't even know that we even look up what that FTA was for. What was the original charge for that? I will also correct that on one thing he said is about convictions. This isn't just folks that are convicted. It could be folks that are being held pretrial that have not been convicted. So that's as well, and that's been consistent. As for any kind of legal question, legal guidance that we've received, I would defer to the city attorney's office and then obviously the mayor's office on what he said and what he may have said and other things. I could just tell you what we've done and what we consistently do. There's been no change in how we've done that, nor have we been directed to change in any way.
Do we have a mayor's office person on? I know that had been Matt Ball and maybe now it's Tim Hoffman. I don't see anyone.
Yeah, that was one of the new things I was going to show up. I just noticed that we need to update our delegate, our appointee and delegate for some of those positions. So
Because again, like the mayor has said this so many times in the media and I'm really troubled by that. So Armando, if you are speaking to him anytime soon, Sheriff, if you're speaking to him anytime soon, we need to get him on the same page. He can't be telling media that we're only notifying for violent crimes when we're notifying for people that may not even be convicted. Like that's just wildly different. And I disagree with that policy, but I understand that it's been the policy. But he can't be saying something that's not accurate in this context right now. It's just, there's too much going on. So anyone who can give him that feedback, I would appreciate it.
yep, we'll do. I saw another hand, I believe. I don't know which order. I don't know, Emily, were you tracking the order here? But I saw Kara's hand up first, maybe? And then Colette, I'll come to you. Does that work?
Sure. Hi, thank you. I have a question. I recognize that this group is obviously dedicated to Denver and Denver City and County. And what I'm about to talk about is not in Denver, but there's video evidence of Aurora Police Department and Thornton Police Department assisting in the ICE raids. I have also spoken to dozens of eyewitnesses as part of the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, the Laboratory to Combat Human Trafficking that I am one of the directors for. We are part of the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, and I've seen the video and I've talked to witnesses who witnessed Aurora Police Department and Thornton Police Department assisting in those raids. They weren't necessarily serving warrants, but they were closing down streets, knocking on doors, moving people aside, and assisting in other ways. And I'm just wondering, like, for one thing, that obviously impacts how people who may be scared to come testify, to John Walsh's point, that they can't trust law enforcement in general. So what their actions are certainly affect the perception of law enforcement in Denver. And I'm just wondering if anyone is holding them accountable for those actions, or who might be, or if you all are in conversation with folks in those police departments about their actions.
We are not. I don't know if Chief Thomas and Sheriff Diggins. I mean, we have a lot going on in our own city, and we're trying to take care of our things. Yeah, that's not something that my purview to police the other police outside of this. But
whose is it?
What's that?
Whose purview is it?
I would say the communities that those police are in, right?
Okay. I don't know.
No. Sorry. I'm trying to raise my hand.
Oh, go ahead, Councilwoman.
So, I think it would be the Attorney General, I would say, because if they are in clear violation of our state laws, then yeah, it would not be like cross-jurisdictional, like for DPD to be able to like do something. However, what we can do is lead by example, right? And what we can do is, and this is of course comfort of our folks here, is speak out against that, right? And say that we're not going to do these things. That may be more of a political thing, and maybe be something more that, elected officials like myself or Councilwoman Parody or Councilman Cashman might want to do. And even our DA, right? And the mayor. And so I think that there's different levels of that, but it would be the Attorney General. And I think folks even on council have done some outreach to the Attorney General and also to our city attorneys, because there has been violations in our city as well, outside of the courtrooms, which is also illegal per our state statute. And so I know that folks on this call, I don't want to call you out on there, but have asked the question of what are we doing? Are we taking any action against the violation of these laws? So that's who I would say. It really does fall to the Attorney General as far as the state laws are concerned, and in other jurisdictions.
Thank you.
Was that your last question, Karen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's go to Colette, and then I see Jonathan is here.
Thank you so much, and I also share the concerns that were expressed by Councilwoman Gonzalez Gutierrez. I was present when the arrest outside the courthouse happened, and it was very upsetting to talk to the family and hear about it afterwards and to see it. But a question that I have is, since the Lake and Riley Act was signed, when we have clients that are charged with low-level shoplifting offenses, which are captured in the language of Lake and Riley, if they are held even for a short period of time, is ICE asking for names of folks that are being arrested for these low-level offenses of larceny and shoplifting? I've been trying to get that answer and I just couldn't get anyone to respond to that.
Want me to answer that directly?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. We have not had any inreach from ICE specifically relative to these charges. They continue to send us 247 requests, but we have not had them ask us specifically for the charges in Lake and Riley. And I'll just also note to you, we're not going to be sending them a list of people who are coming into our custody relative to any charge, those charges or anything else as well.
What did that get your question answered? Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Sheriff.
I was just going to tag on to what Councilperson Gonzalez Gutierrez added for Kara's question. Not only AG Weiser would be the proper person to address those concerns, but also to the local councilor and city manager, which in case for Aurora, I can say is Jason Batchelor. And there's a general email for all of Aurora City Council in which you could address those concerns. I mentioned that simply because I also applied for city council on this very concern and was not appointed, but I share that concern with you.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm going down the list, seeing any other hands. I do not see any other hands. So on to the next, the new business I was going to talk about there. You know, as we've been running through this, trying to get things organized, we've been trying to, you know, today was with our officer votes. We also are trying to round out the membership, making sure the vacancies we have can be done. And so we're working with Esther Leach. Emily's been working with her on getting appointments done. If you're at the end of your term, on what that's going to look like. So please bear with us on that. But I did note that for two positions, we still have Carrie Tipper as one. Carrie Tipper is no longer city attorney. We have an interim city attorney, but we do have the consistent delegate of Marley. So we got you, Marley, as the delegate for the city attorney's office. But for Mayor Johnston's representative, former director of policy, now Senator Matt Ball, is no longer with the city. So we have inquired, and Emily, did you have the answer yet whether Tim Hoffman was going to be taking that position? If not, I will follow up and see if we can get that rolling.
Nope, we reached out and we asked, I also asked Tim directly, and so he is also asking from his side, so we're waiting to confirm if he'll step into that. And while you're on that subject as well, I know we have several community-based commissioners that have been very patiently waiting for their reappointments. So I want to let you know that your reappointments have been approved by the mayor, and I believe also by the city council component that reviews that. And so my understanding is that your reappointments will begin moving through the city council process for that reappointment. So I will keep an eye out, and as soon as I see that is going to be hitting the council agendas. And as a reminder, that's first you go through a council committee, I believe, and council members correct me if I'm incorrect, but I believe all of those move with the mayor's office as the sponsor through the FinGov committee, the Finance and Governance Committee. Then there is a week where it would pass through the joint mayor council meeting and then approval through the full city council meeting. So I will keep you posted as those reappointments enter the process and are on the FinGov schedule, and also when they are scheduled to be on the actual city council Monday meeting for a vote as well.
Awesome. Great update. Thank you, Emily. Other new business, I'll open up to commissioners for any new business. Raise your hand or unmute. And as I was scrolling through, I just thought of one. I wanted to, and I think we have Greg Morrow on. There is a open RFP on for and Greg, since you're on, do you want to talk about your open RFP? Anyone that might be listening?
Yeah, thanks, Director. Good afternoon, everyone. So for the organizations on the call or within your networks that provide individual or group therapy for either substance use disorder or mental health treatment, we do have an RFP out on the streets right now. It's titled SUD Mental Health Services for Justice Involved Persons. And that is specifically for individuals in placement in community corrections who are high risk, high need on our assessments, and who have a treatment need. The state allocates certain funds to us to provide some limited funding to pay for those services, along with recovery support services, which are all defined in the RFP as well. But we're certainly looking for new providers. So again, if you are either a direct service provider or have organizations within your networks that might be interested, please share this information. And if you have any additional questions, you can email me and I certainly can route you through the city buyer that is sort of shepherding this RFP process.
Great, thank you, Greg. I'm glad I remembered that. I want to make sure people saw that and had the opportunity to. Any other new business from commissioners?
Just as a matter related to Greg's announcement, is it possible that that can be shared via the regular communication that goes out to the commission?
Yep. Greg forwarded to me earlier, and I'd hoped to get it up. I hadn't been putting it in, but I'll get that. We'll get that shared via email with everyone.
All right, appreciate it.
Ready. Any other business from commissioners? All righty, well, we'll open it up for community voice, community input. Do we have any community members that are on the call that would like to say something? Let's see. Alrighty, well then, so last reminders before we close out the meeting, and thank everyone for their participation in this meeting. I know how busy everyone is. It's really appreciated. So last minute reminders, we're gonna next meeting have the performance reviews, and Cindy Law will be presenting those. We will then also be hopefully updating on the hiring process for the CPCC manager. For those that are interested in participating in that last stage interview, please let me, Jonathan, Emily know. And I think that's all we had for this meeting. I'll entertain any motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Sheriff.
I second.
Thank you, Mimi, for the second. And so we will catch up with you all next time and look forward to for any communication via email. Forward to that.
Have a great time, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.